Hey y'all, what is going on? This is Jesse Bose from the 19th hole. Hopefully, y'all are staying safe and hanging out a lot at home and making sure to just take care of those that you love in your family. Definitely practice common sense, things 6 foot distance, social distancing, hand sanitizer, all that good stuff. If you feel like you're infected, wear a mask if you got one. So definitely, take care of your loved ones. Be kind to your neighbors, and if you know someone that's elderly and they probably can't get out to get something from the store, while you don't want to have physical contact with them, it would definitely be an awesome idea to see if they need you to pick up anything for them, and then you can always leave it on their porch. But anyways, we are here to announce the next tournament in Golf Clash, and that's going to start Monday, March 30th. It's going to be called the Paradise Island Tournament, and it's going to be 2 courses, the Kohong Resort and the Oasis. So these are both courses that we have played before. The Oasis many times. The Kohong Resort was in the spring major, the previous spring major. So if you want to go back and look at the tournaments, I'll kind of go over that when I talk about the holes and which tournaments you can go back to and look at content of, if you want to kind of get a heads up on what some of these holes play like and look like. So with our tournament here, you have 4 levels of play: the rookie, pro, expert, and masters level. The only requirement is that you at least be in that level league-wise, the weekly league, to be able to play in that level. So if you got to be in at least weekly expert league to play in the expert level tournament, and then you can play in the pro or the rookie. Now you won't be matched up with pro and rookies. You will be matched up with individuals that are on the same level weekly league-wise as you. So if you want to play Masters, you got to make sure you do bump up to Masters weekly league to play. During tournament play, just like in tour play, you can win additional prize tour chests. In the rookie, you get tour 3 chests. In the pro, you get tour 6. In expert, you get tour 9 chests. And in the Masters division, you get tour 12 chests. So you win those throughout the week as you're playing the tournament, just like you were playing in a tour throughout the week as well. All right, these are the prizes that you can win for each division: rookie, pro, expert, and masters. As you can see, the different types of balls that you win change depending on the division you're playing at, and also those numbers do go up the higher level division you play. So if you want to play in a division to get better clubs, and you're playing in the rookie right now, then you would want to play in the pro. Likewise, moving up from the pro to the expert or to the masters. So definitely, take that into consideration when you're trying to figure out what you want to do tournament-wise, and then make the correct choice. Those are the prizes that you win for winning first place, getting a gold medal on the weekend. If you get to the weekend round, then you get a prize no matter what, but your prize will scale down from what you see here on the screen. These are the different rules. And for each division, you got rookie from T1, pro and expert from T2, and masters from T3. The wind goes up depending on what division you play, as does the needle speed for each division. The hidden ball spin, which means you can't see your opponent's adjustments or their ball guide, will only affect you if you play in the expert or the masters. If you're in rookie or pro, you will not be affected by that actual rule. So the way the tournament works is you got 3 days to qualify, starting on Monday. You got Monday, you got Tuesday, and you got Wednesday. If you qualify Monday, then you're done for qualification until the opening round starts. But if for some reason you don't qualify Monday, you can try again on Tuesday. If you miss qualification on Tuesday, you can try again Wednesday. If you don't get it on Wednesday, then you're out of luck. But some people will use those 3 days of qualification to sometimes practice, and then just qualify the next day. Some people practice 2 days and qualify the 3rd day. But do keep in mind that each time you qualify, you will have to repay the entry fee. So definitely keep that in mind as you are planning out your tournament. If you qualify in the qualification, then you get to move to the opening round. The opening round takes place on Thursday and Friday. So in the opening round, you play 18 holes. You have 48 hours to play those 18 holes. I didn't mention it, but in the qualification, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you play 9 holes, but you only have the 24-hour periods to play those 9 holes. So opening round, if you finish in the top 50% of your bracket, you move into the weekend round. So the weekend round is just like the opening round. You got Saturday and Sunday, 48 hours to play 18 holes. And however you finish there in that bracket is the way you finish the tournament. So that's the way that works. If you have any questions about that, definitely put it in the comment section, and I will be happy to help and explain it to you even further if you have any extra questions. This is the course, the Paradise Island Tournament. As I said, it's comprised of 2 courses, the Kohong Resort and the Oasis course. So this is the course, and we'll go over these holes a little bit more in detail here in a moment. So if you're wondering, I'm stuck in the house, I don't have anything to do, where can I practice these holes? It's a great question. Thursday, the 26th of March, you will be able to find the Oasis available in the Tropic Kings and the Club Oceana tours, which was tours 7 and 10. The Kohong Resort is only going to be available on tour 7. So if you're playing from the second tee, you are in luck. You can practice the whole course in tour 7. Now I think in tour 7 there are actually 3 courses, so there may be one other course that you kind of have to compete with getting the holes. But that, I'm just going to tell you, that is really good for people playing from the second tee. There's a good chance that you'll be able to really practice and get a lot of those holes practice. Tour 10, you can find it on tour 10 as well. Unfortunately, there are not going to be any practice holes for the first tee. So it will be important to go back and watch prior tournaments where these holes were played. I will be doing a rookie refresh video like I have done in tournaments past for the week before the tournament. And what I'll do in that video is I will go back, I will find these holes in my previous tournaments and playthroughs. I will clip them out of those videos, put them all together here in one video, holes 1 through 9, so that you can go through the holes 1 through 9, see the way I played them in the tournament, hear about the elevations and stuff like that. So I will be doing that this week in the next 1 or 2 days. I probably won't do that in the Pro and Expert just because you can play the tournament in the Pro and Expert, and I do not play Masters, so I don't have that content. So anyways, that's something to look forward to. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through these holes 1 through 9. I'm just going to briefly talk about each hole, talk about some of the ways we've played them in the past, and then we'll go over the elevation changes for these holes so that if you are playing Tour 7 or Tour 10, then you can practice them with the correct elevations and then kind of mess around and see if you want to make any changes or not. So give me a second. I'll turn the video off and we're going to go into looking at the holes. Alright, so I'm going to do my best to go through these holes. Hopefully I have them arranged in the correct order. I think I do. So this first hole here is par 4, and it's a Kohong Resort hole. You can find this hole in the Spring Major, the last Spring Major tournament. And for the tee box, we played the first shot at plus 20%. So you have the option to go to the right or to the left. If you play it to the right, of course, you're probably going to be bouncing over the rough and then rolling up the fairway to that zone right there. We did not play it to the right-hand side a lot in the last tournament because of the wind in the second tee. The rookie tee had the option to play to the right, and some people did. If we have the wind to play to the left, we can play some sort of a power hook shot where we take the ball pretty far up this fairway, and then we get into definitely like short iron range. I'm not going to count on that wind being there, so the normal way we're going to play this shot is just kind of landing it somewhere in this zone right here and using a lot of right curl and spin to try to get it to this zone. That's the way that, most generally a lot of people are going to play it if they don't have the balls and the clubs to play the hook power curl shot. So from there, you're going to be playing a shot towards the green. Now, if you land up here close to the edge of the green, I'd say it's going to be probably 0%. If you're landing farther down the slope, then I would look at more +5, +10%. somewhere in there. So it's really going to depend on the drive and how far down the fairway you can get as to what percentage you play on the second shot. All you're really trying to do for the second shot is you're trying to find a good landing zone. You know, for your long iron, most likely, maybe a wood club. You want a nice consistent bounce spot to give you that nice ball guide to the hole. From there, you're going to apply your side spin, your back spin, whatever you need to use spin-wise towards the hole. Hopefully hit that perfect shot, make that correct adjustment. The key is going to be figuring out, you know, the landing zone. The closer to the edge of the green, that's going to be closer to 0%. The farther back down that hill, then it's going to be closer to plus 10%, because this is a slope right here that slopes back down. From the right-hand side, you know, the shot's going to be bouncing shot over the bunker and to the hole. Definitely a tough shot, but definitely something that is possible as well. And that's hole number one. It's you know, it's an interesting way to start the course, and it will be a good way to get a good drop. You know, starting this tournament out, I'm gonna predict they're gonna give us some sort of a tailwind and give us the chance to do that power curl if you want to do it. But we'll just have to wait and see. All right, hole number 2, and we've had this hole pretty recently. I think this was a spring major, but then we also had this one in the Pacific Cup, plus 20% for the drive. You're landing the shot in this zone right here. On that down slope, because that down slope is going to give us that shorter ball guide towards the hole. In the first tee, we played it with the backbone. From the second tee, we played it with the sniper. And this was definitely an interesting hole. I think last time we had, this type of a wind, this direction of a wind, because then we had to adjust down this way. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had to adjust down this way to the left-hand side for this second time. Oh man, what the hell happened? So we'll just have to wait and see what kind of wind we get for this hole. But plus 20% is the adjustment for this one for the elevation. Alright, so the next hole that we have here is hole number 3, and this is a par 5. This is a hole from the Oasis course. We had this one recently, well not recently, it's been a little while, the Desert Open, and then more recently the Coastal Classic tournament. Those were the 2 tournaments that we've had this one in most recently. So off the tee box, it's plus 10%. And then for the second shot, it is plus 10%. The way that we play this shot normally is going to be to the left-hand side, where we bounce it off this first fairway. A lot of times it's a double bounce, where you bounce it there and then over the rough and then roll it out to this zone of the fairway. From there, you'll have a wood shot to the green. I don't have my normal pointer, sorry about that. No, a wood shot to the green at plus 10%, and the green does slope to the right, so this is kind of a shot that rolls in and then back down towards that hole. If you get a really nice tailwind, there is like a power curl shot that we played that came in and bounced over and up this fairway. From there, it gave us a nice chance at, it was a rough bump from right there. So that was something we had that we've done in the past on this hole as well. If you get a really nice tailwind and you are playing back from the second tee and you have a good club and you want to use a better ball, that is definitely an option. For most people, we'll be playing to the left-hand side, going for that triple bounce, and then playing the wood shot to the green. You want to try to play the slope of the green. There's like a left to right slope, a pretty severe slope on the green. So it really comes down to really judging the wind push for that second shot on this hole for that chance at the albatross. This is a good chance. I would say it's a medium chance albatross. All the par 5s that we have on this course, I would say are medium and up chances for the albatross. So there's a good chance to see a lot of drops for sure in this tournament, I would guess. Hole number 4, and yeah, y'all are thinking the same exact thing that I'm thinking. Why the hell this hole? I hate this hole, y'all. Just like you all, I hate this hole to the 10th degree. So, hole 4, par 3, plus 10% here. You can either try to play a rough bump here, you can try to play a shot that bounces, you know, there and then there. There's just all different kinds of ways you can play this shot. You know, you can bounce there, and then, you know, and then up as well. It's just so many different ways to really go at this shot. Some people play a driver up to this pad with backspin, you know, towards the hole. There's just so many different ways people like to play this hole, and the fact that there's so many different ways to play a hole tells you a lot about the hole. Like in tournament play, when we have a par 3 and there's only like 1 or 2 ways that people are playing the hole, that means it's pretty dialed in. But like the last tournament, hole number 1, in the expert, there were probably 6 or 7 different ways people were trying to play that hole in the expert from T2. And that tells you right there, nobody's got a clue. Everybody's just trying things because nobody's figured out the shot. Because I'm telling you, if there's a shot that's dropping, everybody's using it. If you're not, then you're not a very bright individual. Anyways, that's hole 4. I don't really have a whole lot to say about hole 4 because I hate the hole personally. Desert Open, Tropic Kings is a place that you can find this hole if you want to go back and see how people have played it in the past. Hole number 5. This is, I like this hole actually. So we got a hole that I like here. This is a par 4. Some people play it to the right-hand side. Some people play it to the left-hand side. If we have a wind that allows it, I prefer to play it to the left-hand side. Plus 10% on the drive, and then off the tee box, you know, you're either going to be bouncing it here before the rough, if it's a side or headwind, or maybe after the rough if you have a nice tailwind and good clubs. Whatever way you decide to go at it, depending on the wind, you know, if you're playing it to the left-hand side, you want to try to get your shot somewhere up in this zone right here. So you need a curl, you need left spin to achieve that shot. From there, the play is a rough bump right there. I play the shot at 0% elevation, and depending on what club you're using, like Goliath, Hornet, whatever you decide to use, you will need to use a little bit of topspin, but not a lot of topspin. So if you have a ball guide that's really well developed, that's probably the best way to go at this hole. If you don't, then you really got to kind of trust your eyeball of it and hope you correctly make the right spin. If you're playing in the higher level division and you get a really crappy wind, you can just lay your shot up to here. And with a wood club, you could try to go for a rough bump. That is a possibility. Some people will play a shot and try to bounce it up through here and up into this area right here. And from there, you'll also be playing a rough bump. This is a very rough bump heavy hole, in my opinion. And I would expect a lot of people to be dialing in some sort of a rough bump from either the left or the right side moving forward in this tournament like we normally do on this hole. Hole number 6 is next. Hole number 6, par 5. This one right here, don't really see any advantage going to the left-hand side whatsoever. Plus 10% is your elevation, and we'll be playing our shot, bouncing it over the rough and the bunker, landing it here, and then up this fairway through that little gap right there. You want to get it as far up the fairway as you can, because then from there you'll be playing a shot at 0% elevation with your wood club up to this spot right here. You bounce it over and down. Yes, I said down. It's a very sharp drop off over that bunker down to this fairway section. And then you'll be using backspin to stop that shot on that fairway to hopefully get a really nice looking roll to the hole for the possible albatross. Now this is another hole that's definitely a possible albatross, and I would say it's not going to be like an easy albatross, because if you bounce it wrong, you can clip the rough right here and then just barely roll out onto the fairway. It's definitely going to be a must eagle though. Do not miss out on the eagle. And that's really going to it's going to make the drive interesting and see what kind of wind we get for the drive. Because if you end up in the rough, on this side or this side, then you're really in trouble. Because at that point, you're really just trying to lay up your shot on this fairway right here. You're just trying to lay your shot up on this fairway right here. And as you remember, the second shot is down a severe elevation. So, trying to judge that second shot or that third shot down to the green to save your eagle would be very tough. So definitely, if you can play with a driver that has accuracy, and you are scared to use a higher level driver that maybe doesn't have as good of accuracy and you may go into the rough, then you can play this hole with like a quarterback or rock, but then just bring like a wood club with distance, like the extra mile, not the extra mile, the big dog or the cataclysm for that second shot to guarantee you get yourself to the green. We want to go for the albatross, but we don't want to go to the albatross and cost ourselves at the eagle. So do what you need to do to give yourself that best opportunity to retry for the albatross, but guarantee yourself the eagle. Hole number 7. This par 3 right here is it's a fun par 3, I would say. I would say this is a fun par 3. It's definitely a lot better than that other par 3 we had. This one right here, you can play it a lot of different ways. You can play a rough bump. You can play a bounce over shot where it bounces over, it hits the rough and then rolls out. You can also play a shot with your sniper right here, where you bring it in with left spin and tail spin. You can play the shot with a guardian with backspin and left spinning curl. There's just all different ways you can play this hole, and you play it at plus 10%. So if you're playing from the second tee and you're playing the sniper shot to the middle part of this neck, then it is like basically a 1-to-1 adjustment, which makes it just really nice. So that's a mid-club sniper at plus 10%, 1-to-1 adjustment. The rough bump is a tough shot because you got to have backspin to bring it off that slope, and it is definitely one of those shots that are dangerous if you hit great left, because this sand bunker right here can come into play. The safe shot in the in some of the divisions is the bounce over shot, where you bounce it off this fairway, you land it in the rough just here on the edge, and then let it roll out to the hole. This is definitely not an ace hole, but it is a hole that you can find yourself in trouble and walk out of here with a par if you're not playing it carefully. All right, hole number 8. And hole number 8 is a par 4. And we're back to the Koh Hung Resort. You can find this course on the Spring Major Tournament. So just remember, Koh Hung, our Spring Major Tournament, and then the Oasis are the Desert Open and the Tropic Kings tournaments. So for this hole right here, you can either play it to the right or to the left. You play it to the right, we're just trying to bounce it up this fairway as far as we can. And then from there, we'd have a second shot with a wood club towards the hole. I would play the drive at plus 20%. And then for the second shot on the right side, plus 10%. So if you're playing it to the left-hand side, we're trying to drive our shot up here to the edge in this gap. So you want to make sure you don't go too far. So watch your backspin. And you want to try to get to the edge right there, and then have a chance to play the shot either down to this little island fairway, or you could try to play the rough bump right here as well. Those are definitely two options as well. For that second shot down to the island area, it's plus 30%, but keep in mind with different types of winds, there may be some adjustments to that elevation change to compensate for that extra wind push, because it is such a severe downhill drop. So sometimes it's easier just to add in that extra adjustment for elevation than to try to offset or just try to figure it out the other way. So keep that in mind. There was a way with really good wind that you could play a power shot where you could land your shot on the fairway, you'd bounce down, you would hopefully hit the rough, somewhere in here, and then roll out here onto the green or the fairway. That was a way that people played it last tournament, but it was very risky, and the chances of ending up way back here in the bunker or even in the water were there, playing it that way. So it was kind of one of those, do I take the risk of trying that, or do I play it safe and guarantee myself to get out of there alive? Trying to go for it that way gave you the easy eagle. This was definitely a hole where an eagle, you were definitely gaining a stroke on the tournament, on the field. So it was a shot that a lot of people felt was worth the risk. But this water right here got a lot of the people as well, because these trees came into play on the shot. All right. So moving on to hole number 9 here. Our last and final hole. Hole number 9. We ending with a par 5. And definitely, I would say, maybe one of the better chances at the Albatross for the par 5s. The second and the third par 5s are going to be your two best chances at the Albatross. Again, playing to the left-hand side, I don't see any purpose in playing to the left-hand side whatsoever. So we're playing to the right-hand side, plus 10%. You're bouncing your shot off this fairway, trying to, with top spin, left spin, and a little bit of curl, get up here to around this shadow area. That's kind of the main goal on this shot. Then from there, we're playing 0% elevation. And it's going to depend on what tee you're playing from. If you're playing from the rookie tee, you'll most likely be using the big dog, but you could possibly use a Viper or a Sniper if you have it leveled up high enough. From the second tee, your second shot will be playing it with the Sniper. You're playing your shot, right up here. You'll be laying your shot somewhere in this zone, and then trying to really figure out that shot towards the green. Now, 0% is what I have for the elevation, but last time we played it closer to like a 10% because we had more of a tailwind on the shot. So we kind of added in the adjustment into the elevation. Instead of the 0%, we played 10% on the elevation. Some people even played 15% on the elevation. So, you can play different elevations on different shots and still get the result that you're looking for, which would be the drop. There's always, like what I say, is there's a base elevation, but then there's the elevation can kind of change a little bit depending on the type of wind effect that you want to add into the actual shot. So the way that you deal with elevation is basically adding or subtracting from your wind amount for your adjustment. So if you're going, uphill, you're subtracting from your you're subtracting elevation, and you're subtracting from your actual wind. If you're going downhill, you're going to be adding elevation, so plus elevation, and you add to your wind. So like if you have 5 miles per hour wind and you're going to add plus 10 to your elevation, you're going to be adding plus 0.5. So instead of 5 miles per hour, you will adjust like you're playing the shot at 5.5 miles per hour, and that will be your plus 10% elevation. And that would be if you're playing a shot slightly down the hill. So if you're playing a shot slightly up the hill, then you're going to be doing the opposite. You're going to be taking away elevation. So we'll just say minus 10% elevation. So same example. 5 miles per hour wind with minus 10% elevation, you would subtract 0.5 from your wind, so then you would adjust at 4.5 wind instead of 5.0 miles per hour wind. And then from there, you just use your normal ring method to make your adjustment per your wind chart or your wind app, whatever you use. And that's elevation. It's very simple. It's just really mathematical. And if you're not someone that likes math, then you have a lot of people that just play it by eye, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. Just whatever you can do to have fun in the game is what I suggest. And appreciate y'all being here. I will be doing the rookie refresh. I may do a pro and expert, guide where I, talk about the holes and go a little bit more into depth about clubs and spins and balls. But we'll see where we are this week with time. So anyways, appreciate y'all being here. Y'all have a great day, and God bless.